Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, welcome to another Gran Turismo 7 opinion piece, and welcome to what might be the most boring Gran Turismo 7 video ever created, because in this video there's going to be a lot of chat about tyre wear and tyre wear models. We're going to spend a lot of time looking at some graphs. Yes, that's right, we've got some graphs to look at, and you're going to have to listen to my voice for however long I decide to prattle on about it. So if you're still with me, if that introduction is not enough to make you switch off, let me try and explain what this video is going to be about. So this video is going to be all about trying to show you folks out there the problems with the current tyre wear model in terms of making strategy incredibly one-dimensional, why we've not had any kind of multi-compound tyre races recently, although if you're watching this on Saturday, next week's Daily Race C is going to be at Bathurst with both soft and mediums available, and I can tell you straight away how that one's going to work out without doing any testing, because that is how one-dimensional the tyre wear model is in the game at the moment. There's just going to be, well, essentially two strategies, but it will be the same strategy, just topped and tailed, if you follow what I mean. They've got the further issue where we have drivers driving about on completely dead tyres, which is a little bit embarrassing for the game. It was doubly embarrassing back at the World Tour event, when at the Toyota Gazoo Cup final, the top three drivers all finished on completely dead tyres. Why did they finish on completely dead tyres? Because the tyre wear model actually makes that the fastest way to go sometimes, so that's definitely a problem. And yeah, this is a problem that's just been introduced after they changed the tyre wear model from the old GT Sport model and the way the game also launched. So yeah, I'm going to try and use some graphs here to try and sort of demonstrate it. I know I go on about this quite a lot. I seem to probably be the only person putting any content out there trying to explain this tyre wear model and the problems that come with it, but for me it's incredibly detrimental to the game, particularly for Daily Race C and GTWS, and in a lot of ways we have a worse product now because of it compared to Gran Turismo Sport and also the early days of Gran Turismo 7, and the game just shouldn't be making backward steps. There's no excuse for it. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's move on to some awesome graphics that I've made for you here, and I'll try and explain to you, try and demonstrate to you through the power of graphs why this current tyre wear model has issues. Okay, so what we have here is the first of two graphs. Now this is a race that's going to be a no-stopper. It's a 12-lap race with a ×5 tyre wear multiplier, so we're simulating a 60-lap race. We've got the current Gran Turismo 7 tyre wear model at the top, and we've got Gran Turismo Sport and also launch Gran Turismo 7 tyre wear model at the bottom. Now what you should see straight away is that Gran Turismo Sport has a crossover between the soft and the medium tyres, whereas Gran Turismo 7 doesn't. So let's just say this is a no-stop race. You've got the soft and the mediums are both available, and there is no mandatory rules. Now back in Gran Turismo Sport, if they did a race this way, you would kind of had a little bit of a choice to make. Do I start on the soft tyres and be quicker at the beginning of the race, but as those tyres wear, actually lose a lot of lap time and actually be slower than anybody starting on the medium tyres? Or do I start on the medium tyres, give up a little bit of pace at the beginning of the race, maybe the soft tyre runners don't pull away as much in traffic, and then as we get to that crossover, I've actually got the better tyre towards the end? It wouldn't be a no-brainer decision. Both tyres would have their pros and cons, because they have a kind of crossover period where the worn tyres, the soft tyres become so worn, they actually become slower than the medium tyres. That's the way it should be. If we move on to the Gran Turismo 7 model, you can see it is completely different. Now, the soft tyres and the medium tyres have the same kind of gap in performance initially, but the problem is that the soft tyres keep that performance gap for much longer. In fact, they keep the performance gap of sorts all the way to the end of the race. Even by the time you get to lap 12, the softer tyres never become slower than a brand new set of medium tyres, meaning that the medium tyres are absolutely pointless in this circumstance. Now, in the bottom one for the Gran Turismo Sport, you probably would pick the soft tyres. I would say the advantage you gain at the beginning of the race is probably more than you lose out at the end, but there is a kind of crossover there, and it wouldn't be a no-brainer. There could be circumstances, there could be certain races where the medium tyre would actually be the better choice. That just isn't the case in Gran Turismo 7. It's the soft tyres all the way. The medium tyres might as well not exist, and that is essentially the big problem with the tyre wear model at the moment. Even though I've got the wear there, so you can see the 80% worn soft tyre is faster than a 0% worn medium tyre, and obviously still faster than a 50% worn medium tyre. There is no crossover over the life of the tyres whatsoever. You basically run the soft tyre until it's dead, and even if you're incredibly bad on tyres and were to run the sort of soft tyres all the way down to 100% worn by lap 11, lose 4 seconds a lap on lap 11 and 12, it would still be the fastest way to do it, because you've gained 8 seconds by having much better tyres over the mediums for the previous 10 laps. So that is basically the problem with the tyre wear model in a nutshell. Let's move on to another graph though. In this one, we're looking at a one-stop strategy with soft and medium tyres, and both compounds are mandatory. We'll take a look at Gran Turismo Sport first, because what we've got here is 2 different ways of doing the race. On the bottom line, it starts on the soft tyres. You can see we have went to lap 7 on those soft tyres, and then we have changed onto the mediums. Why have we went to lap 7 and changed onto the mediums? Because the soft tyres have degraded to the point where a fresh set of medium tyres are faster. So this is like an optimal strategy. There is a crossover. Once the soft tyres have lost so much pace that it's quicker to be on the medium tyres, it would make sense to pit. On the second line, we've got the classic undercut strategy. So we're starting on the medium tyres, we're going to do 3 laps, and then we're going to pit for a set of soft tyres. Now what that's going to do is going to give us a nice set of soft tyres. We're going to be much faster than anybody who's going deeper into the race on the mediums. And by the time we pit, we're also going to be faster than people who have been running the soft tyres from the beginning. So we've got the classic undercut. We are faster at this point, but the price we pay is that because we've pitted so early, the soft tyres start to degrade, and you can see that even by the end of the race, our soft tyres are now equal with the people who have went from soft to mediums, doing the optimal strategy by lap 10 or 11, and we've actually now got slower tyres than lap 12, but possibly we have gained track position. So you get this crossover of the strategies where the tyres are actually crossing over on pace. This is the way it should be. This created so many opportunities for strategy. There was so many different ways of doing the races. I remember lots of races where I was actually faster than World Tour drivers, not because I was faster than them driving, but because they had done a more obscure strategy compared to me doing an optimal strategy, and I was faster than them because I just had better tyres. That doesn't happen on Gran Turismo 7 anymore. It used to happen back in the early days of Gran Turismo 7. It happened all the time in Gran Turismo Sport. But with the current tyre wear model in Gran Turismo 7, those circumstances just don't happen anymore, because the strategy is so one-dimensional. Let's move on to taking a look at the Gran Turismo 7 current tyre wear model if we were to simulate a race like we have got set up here, and highlight the flaws with it. So as we just highlighted with the Gran Turismo Sport tyre wear model and the launch Gran Turismo 7 tyre wear model, you would have options in terms of optimal strategies and undercut strategies, and you would have variables of doing those strategies as well, created by a crossover in the tyres. With Gran Turismo 7's current tyre wear model, that just isn't a thing. We've already demonstrated from the previous graph that there is no crossover between the tyres. Essentially the soft tyres, even though they're 80% worn, are still faster than a brand new set of mediums. What essentially this does in any kind of multi-compound or multi-tyre compound race is that the strategy becomes incredibly one-dimensional. And what you can see on the graph here is basically 2 ways of doing the race, but it's 2 ways of doing the race, but it's just the same way of doing the race in reverse. If you start in the soft tyres, you basically pit on lap 11 to put the mediums on for 1 tyre at the end. If you start in the mediums, you do 1 lap in the mediums and put the soft tyres on and run them till the end, because there is absolutely no value in the medium tyres beyond doing 1 lap on them, because they are essentially just there for appearance money. You know, what is the point in them? They don't have any value, because at no point over the course of the race are they actually quicker than a set of soft tyres. So they have no value whatsoever, and basically because of that you end up with strategies like this. Now you'll have seen it a million times in the races that we've done over the last 6 months, 9 months, where people pit on lap 1 or they pit on lap 11. Now, if the multiplier is so high that you can't do the entirety of the race except for 1 lap on the soft tyres, essentially everybody runs the same strategy, because you basically run the soft tyres until they're dead. You run the soft tyres until they're 85% worn, whether that's lap 6, whether it's lap 8, whether it's lap 9. That's what everybody does, and you either do it one way or the other. So if you know you can do 9 laps on the soft tyres, you do 3 laps on the mediums, 9 laps on the soft, or you do 9 laps on the soft tyres and 3 laps on the mediums. But you never really get these very interesting situations where somebody on a fresh set of medium tyres is actually quicker than somebody on a worn set of soft tyres, because they've went for an undercut strategy versus your kind of optimal strategy. The races have become very one-dimensional strategy-wise. It's impossible not to see if you do Daily Race C all the time like I do, or GTWS, but this doesn't seem to be something that too many people have picked up on or are making too many waves about, except me now. So maybe there's not really a problem, maybe it's just me, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, hopefully you're still awake at this point. If you've made it to this point, then thank you very much for listening to me droll on about that. I am quite passionate about this subject in the game, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, because as I said, I do think the game's worse now than what it was back when the game first launched. Because of this, not in terms of other aspects, but the strategy element of the game is definitely worse now than it ever was back in GT Sport and what it was back when Gran Turismo 7 launched. So yeah, I'm going to keep going on about it, I'm not going to lie. It's something that we need to kind of try and make more noise about, if you agree with me. But yeah, thank you for watching, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye now.